Vision on the pole in car 73, Randy Sword. And alongside in car number 12, Don Renner. The second row consists of car 55, John Strobel. And on the tail, your fast qualifier, Mike Rush in car number 98. Again, tonight there are the 20 lap sponsorships. Tonight's your last opportunity to grab one of those. So stop in at the Speedway office if you got a business, or if you're just a fan that'd like to sponsor a lap, there are laps available. So stop down at the Speedway office, $20 a lap for next week's John Knuckles Memorial. 4 laps to go, Randy Sword. Don Renner now takes over through turns 1 and 2. Renner your leader. Sword is second. Now John Strobel looks to the outside of the orange and white 73 car. Completed now. Coming around, they'll get the white flag this time. Don Renner, Randy Sword, John Strobel, and Mike Rush. 3 laps now down. And your winner in car number 12 will be Don Renner. Don Renner in car number 12. That's his second trophy dash of 1990 here at the Speedway. Limited Sportsman Heat Race number 1. The lineup goes something like this. Rick Stone in car 72, and alongside in 11, Steve Scott. Second row, car 0, Don Hill Jr., and R7, Roger Roush. Car number 29 is next on the inside in third row. That's Bob Justice. And outside in car number 65, a driver change in this car for the heat race and the rest of the evening. This is Willie Bigham in 65. Car normally driven by Scott Murray. And on the tail in car 02, Charlie Osborne. Normally, a driver change always goes to the tail, but apparently Osborne did request the tail also. So he is apparently after a new qualifying time, so he doesn't have a problem breaking out later. Green flag. 8 laps to go. Your Limited Sportsman first heat race. Steve Scott inches ahead of Rick Stowe down the backstretch. Scott on the outside in 11. And now Steve Scott pulls down in front of Stone. Stone is second. Don Hill Jr. third. 2 laps down, this time by. Still Steve Scott, Rick Stone, Don Hill Jr. They'll get the halfway signal this time by the cross flags. Now Donnie Hill will try the outside of Rick Stone. Three laps to go. to the Speedway office, the base of the tower. Once again, if you'd like to sponsor a lap in next Sunday night's John Knuckles Memorial, they are $20 per lap. If you're a race fan or you got a small business or even a big business, stop down and see the gentleman in the Speedway office, the base of the tower, and you can sponsor a lap. By the way, we will be printing the lap sponsors in the Speedway program next week. We will be printing the lap sponsors. Alongside of Steve Scott. They'll complete 6 laps this time. 2 circuits remain. Don Hill Jr. still alongside of Scott. White flag this time. Scott on the inside, Hill on the outside. Checkered flag this time around. Start on the tail. Steve Scott, your leader, but here comes Rick Stone, and there's only 1 lap to go, so this is for the win. And Rick Stone pulls off the last lap pass. That race started with 1 lap to go, and Rick Stone wasted no time at all moving around Steve Scott to take home the win. Limited Sportsman Division. The lineup goes a little bit like this. Car 33, Carl Stapleton on the pole, and alongside car 53, Russ Bobb. Second row in car number 1 is Mike Carroll, and alongside in 31, Dennis Kelly. Joe Hill is in the blue number 70, the current point leader here at the Speedway, and alongside second place in the points coming into this evening's events, it's Robin Pennington in 10. And finally on the tail, car number 20, Mike Brown. 8 racing laps, your limited sportsman, second heat race. We will get this race back underway the next time around, or underway I should say. No laps completed. 8 laps to go. Those Days of Thunder souvenirs are going fast, and I don't think we're going to order any more because they're hard to come by. So you might want to stop down and check out the Days of Thunder t-shirts down at the Speedway souvenir stand this evening. 8 laps to go. Carl Stapleton and Russ Bobb, your front row. Stapleton, your leader in 33. 3 laps down, they'll get the halfway signal. The next time by is Dennis Kelly tries to work the inside of Russ Bob for that second spot. And now Kelly spins out in turn number 4. Dennis Kelly at 31. Three laps complete. Carl Stapleton, your leader. Still Carl Stapleton, Russ Bob. Now Robin Pennington tries to move on the inside of Russ Bob, but he can't make it stick. Still Carl Stapleton. Now he starts to pull away from Russ Bob. White flag. White flag this time around. Now Joe Hill will try to go to meet beneath Pennington down the backstretch. But your leader and winner will be Carl Stapleton. Second goes to car 53, Russ Bob. Third was Robin Pennington. And fourth, car 70, Joe Hill. Trophy dash. Okay, I was right. A 10 was drawn, so lucky guess on my part. That means Valor will start 10th and 10th fastest qualifier on the pole. So the lineup for the 4-lap helmet dash, or fastest 4 qualifiers, trophy dash, helmet dash, whatever you want to call it, on the pole with a qualification time 14.860. Terry Humphrey, your 4th fast time. 3rd fast qualifier, Ron Otto Jr., his run of 14.825. 2nd fast time with a 14.801, Lonnie Rush. And on the tail, your fast qualifier, 14.683 the time, John Vallow in 21. 4 cars, 4 laps. Ron Otto, your leader. But here comes Vallow in a hurry. He'll complete 1 lap this time by. It's Ron Otto Jr. John Vallow trying to make it stick on the outside. Terry Humphrey is 3rd. And Lonnie Rush 4th. They'll be halfway this time by. Vallow moves up alongside of Otto. They'll race door to door through turns 1 and 2. Vallow with a good corner through 1 and 2. White flag this time. John Vallow now takes sole command of the trophy dash, your leader. Otto is 2nd, Humphrey 3rd, and your winner will be car 21, John Vallow. 2nd goes to 52, Ron Otto Jr. 3rd is Terry Humphrey, and 4th, Lonnie Rush. division. On the pole in car number 90, Ron Freebus. Alongside in car 12, Denny Dean. Burgess White is in 59. And on the outside of second row, Bob Christ in 57. Car number 33 is next. That's Dan Eves. And alongside in 14, Don Townsend Sr. And on the tail, car number 6, Mike Carroll. Laps, 10 laps to go. The third late model, or the first late model heat race. Complete this time by Denny Dean and Ron Freebus, first and second. And now Dan Eves moves inside of Burgess White. Eves is now up to third in car 33. They'll get the halfway signal the next time by as Dan Eves tries to make his way around Ron Freebus. And Ron Freebus spins in turn number 2. Make that 4 laps remain, 6 complete, 4 remain. Dan Eves disposes of Denny Dean on the backstretch. Dean is second, but now Don Townsend Sr. tries to make his way around Denny Dean. It's Eves, Dean, Townsend, and Mike Carroll. They'll get a white flag this time by. And your winner, Dan Reeves in car 33. Second goes to Don Townsend Sr. Third is Benny Dean, and fourth, Mike Carroll. To go for the second heat race in the late model division. On the pole in car 51, Bob Fye, and alongside in 61, Mike Ward. The second row consists of 55, Bussy Blackford, and 74, Ken Sword. Then comes Robbie Dean in 94, and Ed Duncan in 84. Tom Randolph was scheduled to start in this event, and they have some sort of problem with the car, but they tell us they are trying to get it fixed for the feature. So 6 cars racing 10 laps. To go. Bob Fye and Mike Ward lead them around. Fye in 51 holds on to that low line. And Bob Fye, your leader. Mike Ward slips back as Blackford tries to take over second and does so. And Bob Fye. Bussy Blackford, Mike Ward, and Robbie Dean, your top 3. Bussy Blackford, Robbie Dean second, Mike Ward third. 4 laps to go. Dean will test the outside groove around Blackford, down the backstretch. Robbie Dean pulls off the pass of Blackford. But here comes Bussy back on the inside. White flag to Robbie Dean. Blackford sideways in 1 and 2. He loses ground as Dean pulls away. And the winner will be the Big Bird, Robbie Dean. Second goes to Bussy Blackford. Third is Mike Ward. And finishing fourth, Ed Duncan. The late model division, Don Wetnall in 81 and Greg Markham in 23. Bob Edwards drives car number 7, and alongside in 39, Randy Maynard. Car number 2 is Pat Jones, and car 91, Scott Drake. And finally on the tail in car 26, Bill Cantley. And Don Wetnall, 2 laps this time. Wetnall on the inside, Markham on the outside. Markham retains control, but barely. He slips back to 5th spot. Now Bob Edwards is second. Edwards and Cantley, your top 3. 4 laps remain as Edwards tries to make his way around the blue number 81. Randy Maynard Jr. is 4th. White flag. White flag for Bob Edwards. He'll take over sole possession of the lead on the backstretch, but here comes Cantley. He'll try the outside of Edwards, but it's going to be too little too late. And your winner, car number 7, Bob Edwards. Bill Cantley was second, Don Wetnall third, and Randy Maynard Jr. fourth. Trophy Dash for the Street Stocks. Don Parsons and Dave Dysinger on the front row. Dan Brown and Jim Cruz on the second row. 4 laps to go. Your 4 fastest qualifiers. Parsons, your leader. Dave Dysinger, second. Dan Brown is third. Jim Cruz, fourth. They'll be halfway this time. 2 laps complete. Don Parsons holds on to that lead over Dysinger, Brown, and Cruz. White flag that time by. 1 lap remains as Cruz tries to make a move on Brown. And your winner will be Don Parsons. Second, Dave Dysinger. Third, car number 9, Jim Cruz. And fourth, Dan Brown in car number 2. And Ron Mangus in 39. Next up, can't tell what number that is in the second row from here. 43, oh, that's Mike Schweier in 43. And alongside in car number 18, Greg McCandlish. The third row, car number 68. Tonight, 68 be driven by Jim McCauley. And alongside in 04, that's Buddy Townsend. The fourth row in car 17, Dean Stuckey. Car number 1 is Darrell Dexter. And car 26, Gary Carter. Working lap number 2. Your leader is Ron Mangus. Second is Gary Carter. Third, Mike Schweier. And fourth and 18, Greg McCandlish. Carter moves up to challenge Mangus for the lead. Spins out, and car 26, Gary Carter, disqualified for rough driving. So 26 is out. Your leader now, Greg McCandlish. Gary Carter ran into the 39 car and spun him out. So 18, Greg McCandless, your leader. Daryl Dexter is second in car number 1. Laps complete. The scoreboard in error right now. They'll get a white flag this time. Scoreboard is off. White flag for Greg McCandless. Daryl Dexter now trying to move around in car number 1. The last lap. Dexter noses ahead on the backstretch. McCandless and Dexter. Counts here. 04 the winner. Car 18 Greg McCandless and car number 1 Daryl Dexter out for rough driving. So your winner is car 04 Buddy Townsend. Again, the 18 car and the car number 1 of Daryl Dexter, both disqualified. Also disqualified in this event for rough driving, car 26, Gary Carter. Okay, the lineup for the 8-lap second heat race in the street stock division. Glenn Miller Jr. in 45 and Paul Baker in 66. 72 is Walt Kimball and 77 is Don Townsend Jr. 22 is Don Parsons III and 21 Fred Parsons. 16 is Bruce Holmes. 23 is Donald Parsons III. Car number 3 is Butch McAllister in car 36, Mike Cyrus.
Please speak to you at the pit mic, Daryl Dexter. Please speak to you at the pit mic.
Townsend Jr., your leader. Walt Kimball is second. And Donald Parsons III is third. Jr. out in car 77, halfway this time. Donald Parsons III, your leader. Paul Baker Jr. is second. Bruce Holmes third. Glenn Miller Jr. is spun. Townsend off the racetrack over in turn 4. For Donald Parsons. second is Paul Baker. Mike Cyrus up to third spot in 36. And your winner in car 22, Donald Parsons III. Second will go to Paul Baker. Third, Mike Cyrus. In fourth and 23, Herman Degg. Last chance race. The top four cars to the main event this evening, the last chance race for the late models. Mike Carroll was in 6, and alongside 14, Don Townsend. Second row in car 33 is Dan Eves, and outside in 57, that's Bob Christ. Burgess White is in 59, and alongside car number 12, Denny Dean, and on the tail, car 90, Ron Freebus. Eight laps. Again, the top four cars to the main event. Don Townsend Sr., the leader. Mike Carroll is second. Townsend holds on to that lead over Carroll. Dan Eves third. This time around, your final transfer car right now is Bob Christ. And Ron Freebus will try to work the inside of Christ for that fourth spot. Still Don Townsend, Mike Carroll, Dan Eves, and now Freebus has made the pass on Bob Christ. White flag this time by. Top four cars, Townsend, Carroll, Eves, and Freebus. And your winner will be Don Townsend Sr. Second goes to Mike Carroll. Third is Dan Eves. And fourth, Ron Freebus. Okay, will be intermission time right now. Okay, Santa Claus is on his way down. They tell me I still can't see him from inside the tower, but everybody's pointing at him. Hopefully he'll make it into the infield. That's the plan anyway. You can bet this is the darkest that it's ever been when Santa Claus has ever jumped out of an airplane. There he comes. He's going to have to turn her around here. Old St. Nick. And Santa Claus, a perfect 2-point landing. We'll get the van out there, pick him up, and he'll be around momentarily. So greet all the kids. So we'll get him in the van and bring out there. Courtright, Refugee and Old Courtright, Corner Cars, your home for quality used cars for sale and rent.
30 laps or what? 30 laps.
Your 30-lap Corner Cars Limited Sportsman Feature event. On the pole in 72 is Rick Stone, alongside in 11, Steve Scott. The second row is Charlie Osborne in 02, and 0, Donnie Hill. In the third row, car R7 is Roger Roush, and 29, Bob Justice. Car 33 is next, that's Carl Stapleton. And outside of him in 53, Russ Bobb. Then comes Mike Carroll and Dennis Kelly, Joe Hill and Robin Pendleton, Mike Brown Sr. and Randy Sward. Next up is Donnie Renner and John Strobel. Then comes your fast qualifier, Mike Rush. Car number 65 is Willie Bigham, and car 22 is Mike Brown Jr. 30 racing laps, your Corner Cars feature event. Your leader is Rick Stone. And we've got a yellow flag, a breakout. Rick Stone running too much faster than his qualification time. These guys are allowed to run the feature event. They go too fast, and they do. They must go to the tail of the event. New leader is Charlie Osborne in 02. Second is Don Hill Jr. Third, Bob Justice. Fourth, Carl Stapleton. We have a restart infraction. Joe Hill pulled up alongside and passed Roger Roush before the green flag came out. These guys must stay in single file order. And Joe Hill pulled out, passed Roger Roush, and took advantage of the yellow flag. He too will go to the tail. We don't allow these guys to pull out of line and pass the car in front of them unless there is a 3 or 4 car length gap in the car, in between the car they're trying to pass and the car in front of them. So Joe Hill in 70, tough break for him. He's the current point leader in the sportsman division, but he did pull out of line and pass Roush before the green flag waved. Still 5 laps complete. Charlie Osborne, your leader. 5 down, 25 to go. They'll complete 10 laps, 1/3 of the way through this time by. Carl Stapleton tries to move around Don Hill Jr. complete. Bob in 53 passes Zero Hill for the second spot. Russ Bob, up from its 8th starting position, is now second. Mike Brown, up from 13th starting spot, is now third. Ten laps to go, 10 laps. To go. And breakfast Sunday morning from Sandusky Speedway. Up alongside of Charlie Osborne for the lead. Osborne on the inside. Russ Bob on the outside. They'll have 4 laps to go this time by. Russ Bob, the new leader. Mike Carroll tries to make it stick on the outside around Osborne. Two laps this time by as Carroll moves up to challenge Russ Bob. White flag this time. Here comes Mike Carroll on the outside again. White flag. Carroll with a good lap through 1 and 2. He'll be challenging hard in 3 and 4. Here, their door handle to door handle. Checker flag this time. Close race. Your winner, car 53, Russ Bob. Let's hear it for all these competitors. A very competitive feature event here on Corner Cars Night. Let's hear it for everybody. An excellent race. In 23, Greg Markham, and outside in 7, Bob Edwards. The second row is Randy Maynard Jr. and Pat Jones. Then comes Scott Drake and Bill Cantley. Terry Humphrey and Ron Otto Jr. make up row number 4, followed by Lonnie Rush and John Vallow. Don Wetno is in 81, and Pat make that Tom Randolph in 22. Next in line is car 84, Ed Duncan, and car 94, Robbie Dean. Car number 74 is Ken Sward. We welcome him back into competition this evening. And alongside in 55, Bussy Blackford. Mike Ward is in the black 61, alongside in 51, Bob Fye. Don Townsend Sr. is in 14, and car number 6 on the outside of that row, Mike Carroll. Finally, in the last row, Dan Eves and Ron Freebus. Corner Cars Night here at the Speedway. 35 racing laps. Townsend is off on the second lap. Townsend out in 14. Complete. Bob Edwards, your leader. Greg Markham is second. Bob Edwards, Pat Jones, Bill Cantley, John Ballo, your top 4. Pat Jones inside of Edwards. Jones sideways in 4. Again, Jones tries to move beneath Edwards. Ballo on the outside. And new leader, John Ballo. Ballo has not won here for 4 races. Halfway, 17 laps down. To go. 10 laps. This time for Ballo in 21. Cantley is second. In 26, third is car 7, Bob Edwards. 5 for John Ballow. Second is Bill Cantley down the front stretch now. Third in car 7, Bob Edwards. And your winner, car 21, John Ballow. Second to Bill Cantley. Third is Bob Edwards. Fourth, Pat Jones. We got one lap to go. We'll see how many cars we can get introduced. Dean Stuckey and Jim McCauley, Glenn Miller Jr. and Buddy Townsend, Walter Kimball and Paul Baker Jr., Herman Dagg and Don Townsend Jr., let's see, Bruce Holmes and Fred Parsons, Gary Carter, Don Parsons Sr., Butch McAllister, Dave Dysinger, Herb Pennington, Dan Brown, Jim Cruz, Darrell Dexter, and the rest of the crew. Mike Cyrus in 36. Racing laps, 20 laps for the street stocks. Again, no yellow flags. We only throw a red flag if there's a car on the track that doesn't appear to be moving. Glenn Miller Jr., your leader, in 45. Walter Kimball is in 72. Donald Parsons the third in 22. Through the cloud of dust in turn 4, Glenn Miller Jr. in Donald Parsons the third. And now Donald Parsons, your leader. Mike Schreier is out on the backstretch in car 43. Jr. is second, Herman Dagg third. Your leader is Donald Parsons in 22. Walter Kimball has called it quits in 72. Halfway the next time by. Townsend Jr. is second in 77. Third, Herman Degg. Fourth is Fred Parsons. Fifth is Paul Baker Jr. Parsons in 22, down the front stretch your leader. 77 is second. Herman Degg with a spin down the front stretch. He had a good race going. Your leader again is Parsons in 22. Townsend is second in 77. Paul Baker Jr. in 66 is third. Jim Cruz is fourth. And Herb Pennington has been disqualified in 89 for rough driving. Three laps to go, this time by. Car 22, your leader, down the front stretch now. 77 is second. 66 is third. Car number 9 is fourth. Dave Dysinger in 27 is fifth. Jim Cruz now up to third spot in car number 9. White flag this time for Donald Parsons. Second is Townsend, but here comes Cruz closing in car number 9. In third spot is car 27, Dave Dysinger. No doubt about your winner. Second place is close. It'll be Donald Parsons, your winner. Second goes to car 77, Don Townsend. Finishing third is Jim Cruz in car number 9. And fourth, car 27, Dave Dysinger. And unofficially, fifth, car 12, Don Parsons.